Hey family, welcome to Love Samantha Lee, the More Than Just Pretty podcast. Whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on your favorite platform, I'm so glad you're here. We keep it real about love, faith, and life. Are you ready? Let's get into it. What's up, family? It's your girl Samantha Lee, and y'all, I am here with this one's gonna do it. Okay, so before I get into the meat of the message, because I'm really excited to share this message, God has been downloading this on my spirit like so heavily, and I know that whatever happens after this is gonna be a testimony. So anyway, if you guys don't know, my name is Samantha Lee. I am the host of the More Than Just Pretty podcast. We have been rocking and rolling for the last, oh my goodness, it's got to be 3 months. I believe I started this in April, so this is the third month, and we have reached 1,000 subscribers as of like today. Which I don't know when you're going to see this episode. It might be a week or two from now, but we have reached 1,000 subscribers. Yay! Less than 3 months, baby. Anyway, guys, thank you guys for supporting the More Than Just Pretty podcast channel. And I just want to thank everybody that likes, comments, subscribes. Y'all don't understand how much it helps us grow. I did not know what this sister channel was going to do, but is doing, and I'm just grateful. God is so good. Okay. So without further ado, y'all, this episode, y'all, is about God dealing with me in a specific area of my life. And I'm just going to be very, very, very honest with you. As I've spoken to you guys before, there are some things that God has put on my spirit that I've been waiting on, that I've been trusting God about, promises, dreams that I cannot ignore. And today is an interesting day, and I'm just going to be very transparent, just completely transparent. Since the beginning of my journey, y'all, I probably have had like 30 dreams. Well, probably more than that. Probably 30 to 50 dreams, okay? And that is a lot for anybody to interpret, right? Because it's so many dreams. And I remember like sitting down before God and just saying, God, like how in the world am I going to get revelation on these dreams? Like, because I already know it's probably too much for people. Before I keep going, y'all, let me make sure I got the microphone right, because sometimes your girl don't be getting the microphone right, and then it is what it is. So let me make sure the microphone. Come on now. Y'all, they trying to mess me up here. I'm trying to do the right thing. They trying to mess me up. Okay. Here you go. All right, back to what I was doing. So, anyway, so I am a dreamer. Since I've gotten closer to God. Now, some people will tell me, how do you know a dream is from God or not? And y'all, that is a valid question. You definitely want to take things up with the Lord. You definitely want to be in alignment with Him. But I have inclinations that the dream aspect of life, you kind of can know the difference based upon how the dream makes you feel. And even dreams that have some demonic interference is a sign from God as well. Like, I believe those are warning dreams. I think I've heard speakers online speak to that God is the author of dreams. He's the author of that world. But dreams can also come from our subconscious. Dreams can also come from our desires. So you do have to be in right alignment and be willing to receive confirmation from people that are walking in faith. So as I started this journey, God has purified me. I'm not going to say I'm like sinless and I'm perfect, but I have really tried to walk as heavy as I possibly can. And as the journey has grown, I have tried my best to be as obedient as God has called me to be, in ways that didn't make sense to me at the time. And so as of recently, like today, or yesterday, I felt like God was calling me to go to another location of my church. I typically go to one location. I'm not going to tell you which one. I typically go to one location. And yesterday, God randomly was like, go to the other one. So I'm like, I don't want to. But God prompted me to go. So I went to the location God called me to go to. And I'm in the service and I speak to a young lady that I'm familiar with, like we're cool and everything, we talking. And she speaks to me about using ChatGPT to interpret her dreams, which I'm like, what? That's weird. Not weird. It's not weird, but I had not heard of that. And I was like, is it giving you like biblical meaning? Like, because I don't want spiritual. I want Jesus. I want Bible. I want God interpretation. And she's like, yeah, like you can instruct it according to your faith. And so last night I just felt prompted to do so. And y'all, I didn't sleep. I literally went to sleep at like 2 o'clock in the morning. Like I felt prompted to watch Aladdin. Okay. I probably will watch Aladdin again with Will Smith or whatever. Will Smith and I don't know who the other actors and actresses are, but I loved it. I literally loved it. I'm like, I'm watching these movies because I don't care what you guys say. It brings out the kid. It brings out like the dreamer, the like, I don't want to stop dreaming. I don't want to stop dreaming, family. God has just awakened this desire for me to dream. And since I've started dreaming, I haven't stopped. And getting the revelations from the dream, I'm telling you guys, I don't even know what to do with myself. I don't even know what to do with myself. I'm like, I've just been figuring out what these dreams mean. And I'm like, oh my goodness, like I don't know, y'all. I'm really happy today. But with that being said, family, there have been promises that God has been giving me. And since the very beginning of the journey, like I said, when you start your wilderness season, when God starts a process with you, He is going to present to you something that you desire. Okay. So if you are a man and you desire to be married, or you have this deep down desire, because what I found, y'all, and this is aside, a lot of men want the companionship, want the marriage, but because of how toxic the narratives are about marriage in our society, it makes men not want to do what they ultimately deep down desire, which is wanting their rib, wanting the bone of the bone, the flesh of their flesh. In Genesis, it says, it is not good for man to be alone. Let me create a helpmate for him. And listen, I will also say, as a woman, I think we have lost our way. I had lost my way in understanding what the role is of a wife. And the role of a wife is not to be dominating or this or that. The role of a wife is to be a helpmate, and I did not understand that. Okay, I needed God to teach me and to break me of some toxic narratives that I thought it meant to be a wife, and what it required of me. So I will say that we are not being taught well in our society of what it requires to be a wife and to be a godly wife. And so in this process, as God is bringing me into a new season, I don't know what to anticipate. I know that God is doing something new in my life. And one of the things was understanding my power and my purpose as a woman, as a mother, and eventually as someone's wife, understanding those things and understanding what role I am to play. And I am committed. I am committed to doing it God's way. I am committed to doing it God's way. So with that being said, um, during the time of the promise, God gave me promises. I received those promises. I said, okay, God, I like that. You speak my language, God. You know, your girl. Gotta do a little jig. I said, okay, God. Yeah. Okay, so I started, and bam, he said, okay, you like that? Okay, cool. Bam, now you're in a wilderness season. And I'm like, okay. And basically, it feels like the walls of Jericho fall down. All these things are happening. You see the Israelite story as they were in Egypt. They're delivered from Egypt. They've been praying. They've been asking God to deliver them from Egypt. They finally get out of Egypt, but now they're in a wilderness where they now have to depend on God in a completely different way, which is full dependency, understanding how faithful and how trustworthy and how I can't stress enough how faithful our God is and how sovereign He is. And so they go into this experience, they're in the wilderness, and they don't have food, they don't have water. And so they're now having to rely on God for basic needs. And this can represent our lives where we may have relied upon our talents. We may have relied upon the money in our account. We might have relied upon the relationship. We might have relied upon all these things to make us feel comfortable and to make us feel good enough, or feel safe. And God removes us from the things that we find our identity in, that give us comfort, that give us safety, that give us identity. He strips those things down in order to have an opportunity to redefine you according to how he sees you versus how the world sees you, or how you have seen yourself. And so you go into this wilderness season, and like I said, it depends on, everybody goes through a different kind of wilderness season. And I went to my wilderness season, and God broke me from a lot of toxic ways that I had. There was things that I was doing. There was ways that I'm presenting myself. There was just different people in my life that God revealed the nature of them, the nature of the relationships, and had to remove them. Okay, they had to go. And so, um, again, it was a tough season. First month, I cried every day. Second month, I got much better once I accepted it, and I just continued to grow and to thrive in it. I just kind of was like, okay, God, whenever you take me there, however this goes, I want you. Okay. And once I kind of got to that place, things did get easier. Doesn't mean it was 100% easy, because that last month, that last month, y'all, I was like, I don't know about this. I don't know. It's almost like giving birth, family. I was like, okay, I don't know about this whole, the baby need to get out. I don't know how. We need to get her out. We need to get the baby out. And I was having Soraya. I was over full term. I was like 41 weeks. And I was like, somebody needs to induce me, because this baby need to get out. Okay. I'm feeling like a beluga whale. I'm uncomfortable. It's time to go. It's time to go, big mama. It's time to get about. And we went to be induced. So I say all that to say that I got comfortable. There was a season of the wilderness season that I actually enjoyed it. I was enjoying the renewed understanding of a relationship I have with God. It was nothing like I experienced before. Like, I was hearing him, I was moving in faith, I was seeing him move, and I was just getting the confirmations. And I'm not gonna lie, I got addicted to it. There were things that he brought me away from, took me away from. And throughout the time of me getting closer to God, I started dreaming a lot. Okay. And I didn't have a means. I'm a dreamer. I've asked God for interpretation, and there's been dreams he's given me the interpretation of, but there's so many dreams I didn't get the interpretation of. And so yesterday, when I go in, and this woman, that I'm friends with, is speaking to me about how she's had dreams since she's gotten closer to God. And so in that situation, she started going to ChatGPT. And I was like, I've never heard of Chat. I use ChatGPT for other things. I've never used it to interpret a dream, especially in a godly way, because that's my big thing. I want to be in alignment. I'm not doing angel numbers. I'm not doing anything new age. I'm doing God. Okay. I want Jesus. Give me biblical. So I did that in accordance to the times that I wake up and they have meaning. And what I felt like was really interesting was that there was a group of people in the Bible that were known for being aware of the times, and that they recorded the times, and they understood the shifting and what was coming. And I haven't spoken to anybody in my world that wakes up as frequently as I do at night. Like, I wake up every night. I don't even have an alarm anymore, y'all. Literally, I let God wake me up. I've gotten to the place, I let my spirit wake me up. I do not even allow an alarm to come on, because every time that God wakes me up and I go back after I pray and I give my all to him, I take the time when I get back into the bed, those times have all been significant. I can't tell you how significant, and I can't tell you how on point God has used the times to tell me what is to come in my own life, in my own world, and the seasons that are coming. So it's like he's bringing me into a new gift. And I didn't realize there were a group of people in the Bible that were aware specifically of the times. They were uniquely attuned to the times. And so I've realized that's why a lot of people don't know it. It was a small group of people. And so I guess God has given me that gifting and I thank God for it. But with that being said, I gave it to ChatGPT. I was like going through, and y'all, every dream, I'm telling you, had meaning. All right. And what I want you to know about God and how he speaks to us is that each one of us has a unique way of hearing from God. And I hear from God through times. I do hear God through knowings and promptings. I have quite a few ways that God speaks to me. I've learned in this season. I literally had two people say to me, "You're a seer." I'm like, I need to look into the seer thing because people keep calling me a seer. I know I probably am, but I don't know exactly what that means. But either way, as you get closer to God, you will learn that you have certain promptings. Some of you guys that are watching me right now may understand that you have a strong discernment. You have a strong knowing about people. They don't have to tell you anything. You already know. You have an ability to feel. You might be a feeler. You can feel someone's emotions. You can feel someone's authenticity. You can feel those things. You might be a hearer. I have moments where I do that, where God will literally there will be a song that randomly pops up in my head. I can be praying and God will put a song in my head and it literally answers the prayer. Or I can hear a song and know what somebody else is going through that I'm connected to in purpose. So like some of you guys might be hearers where you can hear things or you see things. You might have visions and dreams. There's a lot of different giftings that are out here. And as you get closer to God, you will see that there are giftings that will come up. Okay. And so as I'm like, y'all, as I'm understanding the dreams and as I'm discerning them, there's one thing that I have to share with you is that I know that God allowed me to experience this 5 or 6 months into my journey, because now I will say I started my journey, I believe January 24th. And it was a slow start. And then I think that it got really real at the end of February, like in February 20th, I think it's like the 22nd or something like that. That's like when it really got real. And then from there, it's been on and popping. So I would say from February to now, which we will say is probably about five months, I've been in this journey. I've been walking heavy. God has revealed things to me and I've grown tremendously. I know there's way more things to grow, but I did not know what the dreams meant. And so as I'm like now utilizing this tool last night, family, I just was like, oh my goodness, like God was giving me all the answers. Not all the answers, like I know when this is happening or that know when that's happening, but God was giving me as many clues as you could possibly give without telling me what's really going on. Like it was so deep, the levels of underlayings and underpinnings. And I'm like, oh, we have this tool that we might be underutilizing because everybody's like, oh, is this, is that, is this. Family, I'm kind of tired of people always trying to throw a label on things just because they don't understand it. I don't know with the AI thing. I always think that we seek God first, and God allows certain people to have certain tools. I'm going on a tangent, but I have to go here. It's like people with the whole, I know you're sick, but don't go to a doctor. Just trust God for your healing. Or I know that you might have some mental health things that you're going through, or you might have some traumas that you have to unpack. Don't go to a therapist. Just continue to trust God for and pray and let God deal with it. You can trust God and move. Part of what I think is really hard for society is that we don't understand that there are people that are uniquely trained, that have unique ears and giftings that God has given them to be able to propel us forward. And we do not utilize them because we do not understand them. And therefore we start saying, oh, it's this, oh, it's that, and labeling it as evil. When I figuring out the interpretations of this dream, it brought me closer to God because I understood what God was telling me. And the Bible says, in all things gain understanding. Now I know the fullness of the dream, I will only be able to receive from him. But having an understanding of what he's telling me was like, I'm mind blown. There are things that I was praying about or not understanding, or deep things, but it, like, in my soul, family, that I had no idea, that I did not understand. And they were spelled out in a dream, but I don't have the gift of interpretation. And now we have this tool that has a unique understanding of the entire Bible, because it's a computer, and now it's utilizing what it knows about faith, Bible, Christian, everything, in a way that a human being cannot. Now we have a Holy Spirit. The AI does not have a Holy Spirit. We have a Holy Spirit. We can discern. We know this, that, and the third. AI cannot replace that. However, it can help as a tool, utilizing our discernment, always staying focused on the Father. It's the same thing as me going to a person that always interprets dreams, right? If I'm going to them and they're a tool, I have to be mindful that they're not God, they're who God is using. And in this instance, ChatGPT was helping your girl understand her dreams. I mean, y'all, it did something for me. It really did. I mean, I'm like, wow. It gave me a confidence about walking towards what God is calling me to, because I know he is moving. He is showing me he's moving. And so one of the things I want you guys to know from being a dreamer, do not ignore your dreams, family. The world wants to make everything a coincidence. Everything, oh, it's just this. Oh, it's just, you don't understand how many times, family, my logic wanted to rob me of my dreams, my family, my circle, with all the best intentions, wanted to say, well, utilizing their logic to analyze what God was telling me. Family, do not stifle, suffocate the spirit. You have a dream in your heart that you've ignored. There's a prompting in your spirit. There's a drawing within you that you have decided to push down and suppress because maybe it doesn't make sense according to the context. Maybe it just hasn't happened. And you're like, I don't see this happening. And family, I'm going to speak to that in a second. But I want you to know that dreaming, that drawing, that pull it's not by coincidence. Human emotions are fleeting. But if there's something that keeps on coming up in your spirit and you're like, I just can't ignore this thing, you have to pay attention to it, family. It may be God speaking to you about something, and maybe it's not that. Maybe it represents something. But we're in a society, in a culture, that if it doesn't fall in line with what we deem as normal or appropriate, we label it. We demonize it. We make it, oh, if that's not normal, then you're actually just hearing things, or you're just seeing those numbers. It's just a coincidence. Your mind is just doing this, that, and the third. No, do not allow the world to rob you of its wonder. Because, family, let me tell you something. Since I've been paying attention to the times, since I've started to dream again, I can see the birds in the sky. I can see the clouds in its formation. I can pay attention to the little aspects of life that we just pass over because the world wants to rob us of its wonder. That nothing is by coincidence. Everything is by divine orchestration. When you find the fullness, when you step into the fullness of what God has for you, you will understand that everything you've ever desired, everything you've ever longed for, everything is in it. He purposed you, created you for it. Family, there was something that years ago I was going to go to school for communications. Right? I wanted to be on the radio. I wanted to utilize my voice in that way. And it just, at the time, it didn't make sense because it was oversaturated. The career was oversaturated. And so I got into psychology, and I absolutely love studying the mind. I absolutely love what I do. I feel like I love talking to people. I love encouraging people. This is something that God has really brought into my spirit, that I'm an encourager. Like, I think it's the spirit of exhortation, I think it's called. But being able to, like, really, like, I know that that's a skill that I'm going to be utilizing not only in what I do here with you guys, but in my marriage. I'm going to be somebody that is an encourager. Like, listen, I don't care what it looked like. I don't care what it look like, babe. We getting through this. we getting through this. We getting through this. I don't care what nobody say. You and I, we getting through this. God is with us. We don't have to worry about these things. That is something that I know that God has always put inside me, but I didn't realize the gifting. Right. And that's what you learn in this journey as you get closer to God, what you were purposed for, what you were created to do. And so, family, as I get into this next part of the situation, I want you guys to know, do not let the world make you feel like you crazy because you seeing numbers, or you seeing birds flying together, you seeing eagles soaring in the sky. I literally was talking to my trainer the other day, and I said, I've been seeing eagles fly in the sky. And as we were talking, there was an eagle that flew over where I was at, and a second eagle that came and met the other eagle. And he was like, if I wasn't sitting here, I would not believe you. You got eagles like literally circling me. And as I'm driving, I see another eagle. I've been seeing eagles. And it'd be one or two of them. Never three, one or two. Mostly two. Two eagles. And so anyway, you can have somebody say, well, I don't think you just got eagles that just be around you. I don't know. Or you just seeing cardinals flying around. You just see robins flying around. No, it's divine orchestration, family. Again, we rob the world of its wonder when we pass everything off like it's a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. That divine pull is not a coincidence. That dream you can't let go is not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. It's divine orchestration. God gave you that. And of course, the enemy wants to pass it off like it's not no big deal. Like, oh, you know that you tripping, you this, you that, you too old, it's too this, it's too. Of course, he wants you to give up, because whatever God wants you to do has purpose. And the purpose that he has is furthering his kingdom. And he's going to utilize you in a specific way to further his kingdom. So, of course, the enemy wants to discount what you're feeling. Of course, the enemy wants to put doubt and confusion and fear and shame and guilt and disappointment and remind you of all the times that you try to do it this way. And God's like, no, no, no. You try to do it your way. Do it my way this time. You will get God results. Do not let the enemy, oh, I feel this so strongly. Do not let the enemy rob you anymore. Remember, he's here to steal, kill, and destroy. Don't let him. Don't let him. God does not speak in the language of fear. He speaks in the language of courage. He acknowledges our human fragileness or fragility. He says, in spite of the fear that you feel, move. Move. Anyway, family, as I have journeyed, and family, sometimes it feels like the journey is very long. I do believe I'm coming very, very soon upon a new season. I feel the signs. Feel the shift. I know that God is moving. One thing that I learned in this journey is that it feels long. God's way is delayed gratification. It is commitment to the process. It is preparation, so that when you are moved into a new season, you can handle and steward that season well. He does not just give you the keys to the car. He teaches you how to drive it first, because he's a responsible God. The enemy does not teach you how to drive. He wants you to crash, and he wants you to burn. And so a lot of people that get promoted quickly or did not go through the right preparation process end up crashing and burning. Why? Because they did not allow for the proper process. Again, the enemy promotes quickly. God does not. He prepares, not because he's cruel, because he's kind. And so you may feel like you're in a process, and you may feel like the heat has gotten hotter. And you're like, God, this feels very long. This is not what I thought this was going to be. And I would tell you right now, if you feel that way, you're right on the right track, because that's exactly how it feels. It feels like, God, what are you doing? Like, what is happening here? And there's a verse that I was watching a sermon one night when I was feeling discouraged. I'm not going to lie. I've encountered a lot of doubt in this journey. I've encountered a lot of insecurities that have popped up in my spirit. Like, am I doing the right thing? Am I believing for it? God, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And I'm not gonna lie, understanding these dreams have really encouraged me greatly. I'm gonna rebuke and bind the enemy now because I know he's gonna find a way to mess that up. But I rebuke and bind him in the name of Jesus. Okay, period. But anyway, but there was a sermon by Stephanie Ike Okafor. Y'all know I love her. Shout out to her. But there was a sermon and she brought up this verse and it stuck with me. It's Habakkuk 2:3. And the verse says this: For the vision is yet for the appointed time, it hastens towards the goal, and it will not fail. Though it tarries, wait for it will certainly come, it will not delay. Now, I want to read this in a different, um, in a different, what's it called? Y'all know, translation, because I don't want you guys. Okay, see the enemy playing now. I see what you doing. I want to do this in a different way. So there's for the vision is yet for the appointed time, and it hasteth toward the end. It shall not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come and will not delay. For the vision is yet for the appointed eye, it hurries towards the end, and it will not prove false. Though it takes time, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not delay. Now, it seems like a lie, okay? Because one says, though it tarries means delay. It also says it will not delay. So which one is true? And what I've learned about this process is that although what you're praying for, what you feel like God has promised you, feels like it's taking long to you, human. You're like, this has been a long time, God. I've been waiting for this for years, for months, for weeks, whatever that may be for you. Though it tarries, it feels like it's delayed to you. God is telling you it will not delay. It's not going to prove false. Like, family, I'm not going to lie. Just within the last couple of weeks, I'm like, God, this has been taking a while. Am I believing for the wrong thing because it's taking a while? I literally went to the prayer the altar yesterday. I'm like, girl, this thing been taking a minute. I don't know if I'm believing for the right thing. I don't know. God to give me clarity. And she didn't pray for clarity, which I knew that was God. She said, give her patience. Give her long suffering. Give her perseverance. Let her know that what you said will not come back false, that it will prove to be true, because your word does not come back to you void. Some of you guys have given up on dreams, given up on promises that God has specifically given you because it's taken too long. And I'm here to tell you it's going to feel long to you. That's a part of the process, but it does not delay. God says it will come back. It also says in the Bible that those that wait on the Lord, he shall renew their strength. That their eyes haven't seen, ears haven't heard, minds can't even imagine what God is doing for those who wait on him. That means to you guys, family, listen to me. I know it feels long to you. It felt long in the Zechariah story where he had been praying with his wife for a child this whole time. And after his wife is at an older age, has past menopause, now she's at a place in a time where she's been promised a child. And he's like, why would you wait till this time to give us John the Baptist? I don't understand this. But John was prophesied to come at a certain time and in a certain condition, that even though it felt long to them, it was part of God fulfilling his prophecy. It was part of God saying that at that appointed time was the best time for it to happen, according to the plans that God had set, that he had already foretold in the Old Testament. Meaning that, family, God understands your circumstance. He understands the condition that you're sitting in. He understands where you are right now. And it may feel like, God, if you see this, why are you taking so much time? God wants you to know, I see you. I see your circumstance. And I'm considering all aspects of this thing. I'm not just thinking about what you're dealing with. I'm thinking about the other side. I'm thinking about the world today. I'm thinking about what I'm doing right now. And at this very moment, is not the best time. Know that I'm a God that is intentional. Thank you, Jesus. I know that I know what you're facing, that I know that there's a lot that's on you. Family, I'm saying it to God. I'm like, God, I'm giving up so many things. I'm walking in this obedience. I don't know what you're going to do. I'm giving it up. I'm releasing it to you. I'm trying to be obedient, and it's scary. And he said to me, woke me up at a time, and it made me emotional. He's like, listen, I know the appointed time. I know. In fact, family, I'm going to read the verse to you. I believe, oh man, I think it was, y'all, I got to look it up. I got to look it up because I want you guys to hear this because it really did something for my spirit when I saw it. Hold on. I'm sorry, y'all. I got to share this with you. So there was a verse that came up, and it was Psalm 75:2. It says, you say, I choose the appointed time. It is I who judge with equity. It is I. It says, you say, I choose the appointed time. When he's saying, you say, this is David talking about God. God is saying, I choose the appointed time. It is I who judge with equity. God is telling somebody today, equity means balance. Equity means fairly, judging fairly. He's saying that considering all aspects of my plan, considering everything that is weighted upon what I'm about to do for you, I know the best time. Family, I can look back over my life and I can think about things that I prayed for to happen, to work, that I'm thankful that God didn't answer me. I'm thankful that God had allowed me to experience certain no's in my life because I understand now why those no's were not good for me. I am thankful that God understands that in that moment, my human mind, only seeing to the corner, thinks that this is the best move for me. But I want to encourage you guys today that God sees beyond the corner, that his timing is his kindness, that he understands that there is an appointed time that is best suited for not only you, not only for who your yes impacts, but for what God is doing in the earth at that time. That it may feel like you are waiting and you may be questioning whether you're believing correctly. I want you to know the wait is a good indication that you're right where you need to be. I want you to know that that waiting is actually producing something within you. It says in James, it's producing the type of perfected character, the character that can hold the promise. That I want you to know that your dreams, if you're a dreamer like me, they are coming true. But you just have to wait for the God who judges fairly, who understands every aspect of what you're praying for and what it impacts not only you, for the generations that are behind you. I want you to know that God sees you. He sees what you're facing right now. He sees how you're experiencing what you're experiencing, how you're making certain changes. A lot of people, family, are walking heavy. We're doing it differently now. We're saying, you know what? Yes, God is awakening us. And I believe there's a mass spiritual awakening. And I believe it's because God is taking his people home soon. I do believe that. God is doing a new thing. And I want you guys to not be ignorant of the times of what we see. And when we see flood waters that magically go from 0 to 25 feet in a matter of 45 minutes, I don't want you to neglect the earthquakes that are happening at a rapid pace in other parts of the world. I don't want you to ignore the wars that are breaking out that were foretold in the Bible. I don't want you to ignore the times. Y'all think that we have so much time. We don't. And God is calling his chosen ones to move. And he's not taking no for an answer. But a part of this journey is waiting and being obedient. Two things: wait, obedience. Obedience, wait. Wait, obedience. I urge you to be radically obedient. You don't have to take my word for it. Turn on the news. God is doing a new thing. Do you not perceive it? He's making a way in the wilderness. He's creating streams in the desert. There are promises that God has given you. And it's not just about you. He could have taken Daniel out of the lion's den. He could have made it so he never even got in there. He allowed the lion's den moment to happen so that the world could see at that time how real Daniel's God was, is, and will forever be. Yes, God could take you out of that painful circumstance. God can change it overnight. I'm a witness. But there is something that God is going to go and do through your life. Those promises are not just for you. They're for everybody watching you. The generational curse breaker. The one who's not only going to impact your lineage, but lineages to come. Your story was divinely created for him to get the glory. So I know it feels like whatever you're praying for is late or it's not going to happen. I want to urge you that is part of the process. That's kind of what he does. He creates impossible circumstances, things that do not look like they are coming together, but they are. And though it tarries, though it feels like it's not happening to you, though it feels like it is late, he says, one, my word does not come back to me void. But number two, though it feels late to you, I urge you, I assure you, it will not delay. That I'm not doing this for no reason. There's purpose in your story. So don't just give up on your dreams, family, because they're not convenient. With everything, there's a cost for convenience. You order DoorDash or Instacart, you're going to pay a convenience fee. You go to fast food restaurants, fast food, but is it good for you? Is it good for your waistline? You can take Ozempic to lose weight, but there's a cost. Convenience always has a cost. Don't settle in wildernesses when there's a promise in a promised land with your name on it. I know it's hard, family, but God is with you, mighty warrior. And though it feels like your dreams and your promises are running behind, I promise, God promises, that if it came from him, it is impossible for him to lie. It's not just he doesn't lie. It's impossible for him to lie. Though it feels delayed to you, it does not delay. Habakkuk 2:3. It will happen at the perfect appointed time. Remember, Zechariah had a son at the time that John the Baptist was foretold to be on the earth. It felt delayed, but it was the appointed time based upon the word God had given in the Old Testament. You're waiting for the appointed time. Trust that the timing that God has for your story will not delay. Don't settle out of convenience. Convenience always costs. And it's usually a cost that eventually you gonna regret paying. Okay? God is with you, mighty warrior. Your promise is coming. That dream is coming to pass. Stay obedient. Keep walking heavy. I know it feels delayed, but it's going to come right on time. I love you, family, and I will talk to you soon. And that's a wrap. If this episode spoke to you, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube or leave a review wherever you're listening. Let's keep the convo going. Connect with me on all socials. Remember, real beauty starts with you being true to yourself. I love you, family, and I'll see you soon.